Hi, Bob Wilkie here with I Got Mind, and we're here today with Kerrin Lee-Gartner, Olympic medalist, women's downhill. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hear a little story that you said you've only worn that medal twice.
Yes.
And I'm curious as to why.
I was, that came very naturally to me. When I was a little girl, I grew up in Rosslyn, BC, and Nancy Green, who won Olympic gold in 1968 when I was 1. I didn't know Nancy very well, but I knew her parents. They lived just a block away, and I played dress up with Nancy's medals and trophies, like literally. Some people are putting dresses on, I'm putting medals on. And as a little girl, I dreamed one day I'm gonna do that. And I really believe that that imagery and that make-believe that I did allowed me to believe it on the day that counted for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted that to be other people's dream. I wanted them to know it's not superstition touching it or wearing it. It's actually imagination and make-believe, which is making belief.
Yeah.
And so I wore it once on the podium with O Canada in France in 92, and then I wore it one other time. I was convinced it had to be around my neck for a photo shoot. The same year, about 2 weeks later. So that's it. I'll hold it, and then I let other people wear it.
That's a great story. We were talking a little bit briefly about the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as athletes and striving to be what we can, there's certain times and certain things that we tend to block out and put in the trash can. What were some of the things that were in your trash can?
I think I had a big trash can. You know what, actually, until I had a car accident 2 years ago, I didn't realize how big my trash can was. I had a wonderful childhood. I pushed hard. I was a competitive girl. I was shy, introvert, did a lot of following. And I was a downhill skier, which means I also was risking myself every time I competed in my sport.
Yeah.
And I think what went in that trash can now, looking back, hindsight's 2020, I put a lot in there. I put anytime I was embarrassed, anytime I failed when I felt I should have succeeded, anytime I let someone down, even including my parents, anytime I felt not good enough as a woman or a young girl going through puberty. That's when most women stop sports. At age 14, girls drop out because they don't feel good enough, either in body, looks, or ability. And that's just not a great picture at all. It all went in there. And then when I became more of a, like an Olympic champion, in went the crashes that I had into the net. My worst injuries didn't go in there because I had time to deal with those ones and heal after surgeries. But the ones where I got back up and started again, they all went in the trash can. And that trash can was very, very full when I had a car accident 2 years ago. And to me, it's just like a picture. I say to the doctors, I feel I have this trash can and the lid got knocked off getting rear-ended. And I just want to deal with that. And they said, well, we're not putting the lid back on. We are going to deal with it. And I didn't realize how much was in there. I didn't realize how hard so much of what I did was. I didn't realize how difficult it was to try and be the very best in a very risky sport. In the very top of your field. It is fun, and I wouldn't turn any of it away, but I wish I knew more.
Yeah. You know, we're learning more and more that there is this PTSD in sport. Mm-hmm. You know, all these things happen to us, and you know, here you are now, after a car accident a couple of years, kind of opens the lid on stuff. How important is it to have conversations around it, to deal with it, to put it in its rightful place?
You know, it actually taught me, I worked as an athlete very closely with a sports psychologist, like a performance expert. And I didn't deal with any of the traumas and the accident. It's about how to heal and be great again.
Right.
And after the accidents, the doctors that I've worked with and the therapists that I've worked with, it's absolutely critical to talk about it. And I had spontaneous crying, and I kept saying, but I was only rear-ended. It was just a little car accident. And they said, would you please stop saying just, because your brain feels like you've had the most traumatic event in your life. And it isn't how hard it is, it's how hard does it feel to your brain and to your insides and to your heart. And to me, my body and soul thought that was a horrible experience. And it was a brain injury, but it has allowed me to deal with a lot of other stuff from the past. And I wish I knew I had a trash can in there before. I don't even think I knew I was putting it in there and putting the lid on. And at age 52 now, I'm realizing I have a lot to deal with, and I thought it was all hunky-dory until a car accident.
Yeah. So, for those of you that are listening out there with young athletes, especially young women athletes that are aspiring, I hope you listen to everything. It's important that we talk about it and remove the stigma that mental health is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to talk about it and to heal.
Well, mental health is a good thing. It means we're doing it right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Talk about it, learn, grow.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.